It's the end of the day. It's time to close up shop. However, something tells you to stay back for a bit. For the next hour or two, you'll be staying after hours. Well, hello everybody, welcome back. We're back again to the Double After Hours podcast. I'm Aaron Gresser. I'm here with Charles Robinson.
We live in a society
Oh, that's a cool one.
where we're forced to shop at Walmart instead of Target.
Oh, what?
I don't know, man.
Crime against humanity right there.
I'm just thinking about like the most like awful Joker Facebook memes that could have spawned like when this movie came out.
Yeah.
We're living in a society where we're forced not to drink at kids' soccer games.
It's the biggest crime of them all. And also, speaking of another big crime, Brice Guskovic.
Yo! You
Hey, guys.
sounded just on the spectrum. I don't even know like, what you want me to say.
You want a Mountain Dew?
Before we recorded this, Brice was like, yeah, I have a little cough, so whenever I laugh really loud, it's gonna like just come out. It's just coming out now.
This reminds me so much of
We're just beginning, folks.
I was
my God.
Thanksgiving.
Oh no!
Oh, man.
Oh.
The reason my yo sounded like that is because one, I was responding to what Aaron said, and I was trying not to laugh,
Yeah.
and then Charlie screwed me over big time by saying I sounded like I was on the spectrum.
What I do. So to be fair, I've had my moments of that too.
Well, you only have a few moments. I feel like you have moments where you're not.
Bro. But no, because
Alright.
I keep thinking back to recently when we did The Price is Right. I just went, yeah, Big and Cheese.
Big fan.
And I was
Big
like,
fan right here.
and I was like, oh wow, I am just the CEO of nonsense. Oh my God.
Wow, that's a cold open.
Oh,
All right.
dude, it was a special one, all right. But anyway, speaking of special, we're talking about Joker.
Yeah. Special little film.
Oh, dude, it's so special.
No.
In all the best ways.
So, I know you guys are expecting the usual freak you plot by plot synopsis, but I think if we
Yeah.
learned anything from Spider-Man 2, sometimes that gets a little off the rails.
Yeah. Oh.
When Shane just wants to talk about Joe from Family Guy for half an hour.
He's gone, by the way. He's not here.
Yeah, he's not on this episode. He'll be back next week.
In case you didn't notice by us not introducing him.
Yeah, because he would have
Yeah.
talked by now. I mean, he likes to talk.
I didn't say it. He did.
He likes to yap.
Oh,
But that's why we like Shane.
Yeah.
He likes to yap. I'm trying to think of other qualities here. You know?
Silence before,
I mean, we've all been there, right? Like, you're listening to qualities like a friend you got, and it's like, oh, I'm running blanks. Even though, despite the fact this friend has probably done a lot for you in the real world, but
Yeah.
you just can't name a one good thing about him for, like, the life of you. Like,
not
he's
good.
the best man I know. What about the murder? What murder?
God.
I feel like we can say that about this movie.
Yeah.
But one thing that will keep the same.
Is Brice coughing?
Yeah.
I am so sorry, guys.
Goes
That's
hard.
fine.
I am so sorry, future Aaron.
Bryce's coughing is going to be like Joaquin Phoenix's uncontrollable laughing.
Yeah,
It's our version.
Yes, that's also the reason I wasn't here. I guess
Last
right
week,
now,
yeah.
last week for Spider-Man is because this was about 4 times worse.
Wow.
I have been taking so many medicines for the past week. I hate it.
Dude, just like Joker, this just keeps tying in.
Real,
This corporate synergy is going so hard.
real.
Dude. Spectrum. Look at Biggie G is over here. He's figured it out. But he's figured it out. Oh my God. But we have to talk about Joker.
Yeah.
Because it's a good movie. And I would say, hey, it's the highest grossing R-rated movie of all time. But Deadpool and Wolverine beat that recently. So,
Dang it. Should have done this like 3 weeks ago.
it's true.
Yeah.
So it could have been corrected by historical inaccuracies and then had
Yeah.
to go, oops. Not evergreen.
Yeah.
But,
Love when we have dated episodes.
I know, right?
They're phenomenal.
Name all of them.
Looking at you, episode 1.
Yeah, that,
We're still doing the radio show, guys. You can listen on WP.
I'm about to put out my first song.
I remember, like, after we recorded it, Brice went up to me and said, so yeah, when's this podcast coming out? I said, May. We recorded that in early March.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I thought everyone knew we were releasing in May, but then they didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway.
none of us did.
I'm pretty sure I said it, but oops. But oopsie poopsies.
Yeah.
I communicate, guys, I swear. But speaking of communication, we gotta talk about, like, you know, our quick synopsises or quick thoughts about this funny little film.
Quick thoughts.
Before we get to, do we want to release what the wheel is called? Because we got a wheel of things.
I mean, it's quite a name, all right.
I was going to call it Wheel of Opinions. Like, hey, because if you listen to the radio show, remember Jar of Opinions? It's kind of back-ish. Yeah.
We could have named it anything, and Aaron went with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, would you like to disclose?
I guess I will. So we have come up with the greatest name for the wheel of all time. It is known simply as... I'm building this up so much because I knew he was going to start laughing.
Yeah.
It is titled The Nega Wheel. Let me state for the record, because I do have a somewhat public image to attain. It is the Nega, N-E-G-A.
As in evil, as in doppelganger.
Evil, yes, wheel, okay? All right. Hopefully I still have a job after this. We'll see.
Hey, WHMI is like, so yeah, we like the wheel idea you introduced in your joke episode. Can we use that?
Ooh. All right.
Welcome back to WHMI's morning programming, introducing the Nega Wheel.
I mean, they do actually have a wheel of misfortune that they bring to all the events.
Do they actually?
Yeah, they have one of those like spinning wheels.
What's like the biggest crime that happens on that wheel? We untie your shoe.
They get nothing. It's just the nothing. You spin and walk away.
You just get murdered.
Honestly, I think getting nothing is a bigger crime than getting murdered.
Yeah.
Ooh, Daddy, can I spin the wheel? Yeah. Go ahead, buddy. Whee! Just gets dropped right there. Murk some kid.
Murk some.
You just hear like a sniper round go boom. Just. Oh my god.
So speaking of murder,
yes,
the Joker, or just Joker, released in 2019. Aaron, we got to hear your big old funny little thoughts first.
My big old funny little thoughts. Now, I've said this many times on this podcast, and I've said this a couple times on the radio show too. For those that remember the radio show, hi, you deserve your veterans pass now. Wow. But anyways, I've said this many times. I am not the superhero guy. I just I live in my little world here, and hey, if we happen to watch a superhero movie, I'll watch it. If we go to the theaters and watch it, we go with the gang here,
we go with the boys,
with the fellas. It's most. I'm just here with the fellas, and it's just, hey, I'm getting out of the house. Cool. I don't know the deep lore. I don't know the the inner workings of the whole universe and all that
crap.
You're
telling me you don't know everything that Bat Cow represents, you hack.
Yeah, there you go.
Bat Cow. You know he's real too, and that's what makes it funny.
Yeah.
Yep.
There you go. So, from a movie perspective, from a not coming from watching the whole entire DC, what is it called? Is it the DCU?
This doesn't take place in it.
Oh, this is not.
This is its own standalone thing.
And he just found this out.
Yeah. Again, I live in my own little world. Anyways, from a just movie point, I mean, I liked it. I thought it was, it was entertaining. Not saying I would just sit and watch, ooh, pretty color, yeah. But
Spectrum.
Speaking of Spectrum, right?
Average moviegoer in Aaron's eyes. Ooh, pretty colors.
Ooh, pretty colors, fantastic.
Man, those minions are mighty yellow today. Did you know Kermit the Frog is green? Says
wow.
to a colorblind person.
Is this your card? No, I don't know. Is it a red card? I don't know what red is. Yeah. I liked the movie. Okay, that's my thoughts. Yeah.
Brice, you go.
Next.
Okay, so I go. So this, I've seen parts of this movie before, not just like little clips or segments, but like full like scenes, just because it's been on TV or something. And I kind of sit, watch it. So today, I finally actually got to watch it. And if I didn't have to sit through the ads that freaking Amazon Prime kept throwing up, I would have watched it in one sitting.
I could have sent you the copy of it. You just gotta ask.
I forget these things.
He's a defeated man.
I
That's
forget
not
these
going to help.
things.
Yeah,
I forget these things.
Yeah.
But
anytime, let me know.
I really, really enjoyed this movie. Like, I want to talk about it more in depth later, but like I was so physically uncomfortable watching this movie, and I appreciated that the movie could provide me with that feeling.
Right.
I thought just everything was actually really, really well put together because I had originally walked in, all my friends who had seen it, they all hated it.
Really?
So I thought this was not going to be good. And like I saw the trailer for the next
your
one.
friends have awful taste.
No, they really do.
The more I learn about them, it's like, man, Amazing Spider-Man 2 was the best Spider-Man movie. Man,
Yeah.
Joker sucked. Like,
Yeah. So I was very pleasantly surprised to watch this and be like, wow, this was actually a really good movie.
well, all right. I guess it's my turn.
Yeah.
So Aaron's mentioned he's not the comic book guy. I'll toss in my virginity membership real quick to the front of the table because this is my domain. And
Put them all in the center.
Approaching virgin territory.
oh, we're not approaching. We're in like the heartland.
Capitol Hill.
We've been in, rented a room, and we're ready to go.
We are like in the cornfields of Virginia, USA, dude. Oh my god. But anyway, so with putting my chastity belt like clearly strapped. Yeah, I was in a very similar case with Brice, where I've seen scenes of this movie and I knew how it ended, but I never really fully sat down and watched it. And I don't really know why. Like, it was just one of those things that, like, I always planned on, I'm going to watch this eventually. And I never did. And I don't know why. So, partially, how we use this podcast is as an avenue for us to finally go, hey, we're going to watch that thing. Or we're going to finally do that thing.
Am I actually the only one here that's seen this first?
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
For once.
Wow. All
Which
right.
is shocking because of how much I love the Joker.
Yeah.
And I'm just the comic book version
Right.
aficionado.
Right.
It's just the
Captain Virginity.
when Captain Virginity throws his mighty belt.
You lock it on just every villain. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god, dude! It's like Woody's like lasso. People around. This bed isn't big enough for the two of us, partner. I'm a big fan of this superhero idea. I think he can go far. Come on,
All right.
Marvel.
Yeah.
Phase 7. We don't need the X-Men. We need Captain Virginity. God, one of these days, like if I ever meet Kevin Feige, he's just gonna play that clip to me word for word. I'm gonna be like, oh boy. But anyway, so yeah, this is my first time actually sitting down and watching this movie, and I wasn't as grossed out by it as Brice, just because I've seen grosser movies. Like, I don't know. Again, I'm not me being better. It's more just cinema can get pretty grody. So, this to me was pretty tame in terms of at least visuals that I thought was gross. Honestly, I thought it was more just little character details that made me uncomfortable. As if you, listen, fun fact about me watching movies. Secondhand embarrassment is, the easiest way for me to get a reaction in the theater. Besides making me laugh, I don't get scared easily by movies anymore. I think horror movies are more funny to me than actually scary.
Yeah.
Just because it's like, haha, the character did a dumb thing. Go kill him, Jason. But...
Go get him, partner.
Go get him, Freddy. But... Go get him, Tiger. But just the little, uncontrollable laughing bits, kind of the uncomfortable silences, the stand-up bits, the whole, late-night show scene that happened near the end. That made me way more uncomfortable, not because someone got shot or whatever, but just because of, the pure human, just awkwardness of it all.
Yeah.
To me, that's way more gross of a feeling than any gore you can show. As gore is gore, obviously we don't all see that every day. Some people do, but we don't. Uncomfortable human interactions and just the general fragileness of a psyche, that to me is way more scary. So those are my thoughts. Let's get to the nega wheel and see what the heck we have to get to first.
That's quite a tonal shift there.
I know, right?
All right. Okay, let's spin the nega wheel, shall
Survey
we?
says.
Survey says. All right, we're spinning here, and we have landed on. Oh my
Nothing.
God! Just sticking to the classics here. The plot.
All right,
Back to
gang.
formula.
Back to formula.
Back to formula.
All right, gang. Quick
Yeah.
synopsis time.
Oh boy, yeah.
This episode's not 2 hours long, we swear. But
we hope.
we hope.
Well, my
Band for band with the movie.
So the movie starts out.
the SD card certainly hopes so.
Yeah, because we don't have room for that. But generally, I think the plot of this movie, if there is one thing I can say, I did very much appreciate how it didn't have a very standard blockbuster level plot. And what I mean by that is largely like, if you think about most of the biggest blockbusters of all time, think Indiana Jones, think Star Wars, think The Avengers, think your big like summer action movie or kind of those shindigs. You can pretty much lay out what like the central plot is very easily. That's not a bad thing about the movies, but it's just the way they're set up. Like, there's a MacGuffin thrown at you. There's a central quest the characters have to go on, hero's journey and all that stuff, whatnot. It's very clearly laid out what is going to happen, or at least to some degree, a process of events that will happen in a certain time frame. That's done on purpose. That doesn't mean your scripts are bad. That actually means your scripts are good, but that doesn't mean that's the only way to write a movie. This movie felt a lot more like you were just kind of watching a guy live his life. And, you know, I think there's pros and cons to that. We've talked about that on Whiplash like before and some other stuff we've done before. And I very much appreciated how we didn't try to give Joker this grand quest. As, even though this movie personally irks me as kind of like, you know, a comic book guy going, I don't really like the Joker having an origin story, separating it from that, I did enjoy how we did get to kind of dig into Arthur as a character without having him go, you must go to the Dagobah system.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I generally thought really worked well about the plot. And everything that we got to see felt more of a, oh my god, what's going to happen next, kind of a roller coaster rather than, oh, he has to go here now. Okay.
Yeah.
So, that's what I think. I don't know, jump in, y'all.
No, yeah, I really actually like that. And Joker is honestly quite possibly my favorite comic book villain, or just like my favorite villain in general,
Sure.
right? Like I just love him as a character, and I love getting to see different adaptations of him that aren't played by Jared Leto. And so this one was a very interesting, and obviously it's a unique one because, like Charlie said, it's not often that we get to dig into who the Joker was. But I actually, unlike Charlie's virginity over here,
Oh yeah, my
disliking
virgin
it,
circus is like on full corral right now.
him not liking
Step
certain
right up,
aspects.
step right
Step
up.
right up to the virgin circus.
Don't come one and all.
The chastity monkeys are here to judge you for your past sins.
I'm so.
What?
I'm gonna move past that. No, we're not.
You're not okay
Judge you
with
for your-
chastity monkeys.
I want that on a shirt.
The chastity monkeys judging like it's like a couple walking in the street and a bunch of monkeys just go up going
Just shoot them.
But the monkeys?
Yes, the monkeys. The monkeys shoot them.
Oh. I wasn't gonna go that far. I was more thinking of like a flying monkey situation.
I'm keeping it on topic. Murder.
Yeah.
So, I really like that new adaptation of the Joker where he's given a name and he's given a normal personhood. He's not this crazy guy who fell into a vat of acid or some Ace Chemicals thing. Like this is this. Shut up. This is. I do too, but this is a very nice, unique one, and almost that almost reminded me of the Heath Ledger Joker in a sense, where
okay.
which is my favorite live adaptation of the Joker.
Well, I mean, it's the best one. So.
Right alongside Cesar Romero, which is a hot take. But
Nice.
no, I was expecting Charlie's face to just like sink
No,
there.
it's
and
more
it
because
didn't.
we've been friends for long enough where it's like, I know how obsessed you are with Batman 66, so that just doesn't shock me anymore.
Okay.
A couple years ago, I would have went,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah. You what? But
You
Joaquin-
on the big top virgin circus over here?
Wow, pow. No, but
Is that what you say when you like hey girl, no. I just love the idea. There's like a Batman 66 sex scene. It's like you only hear like what happens outside the room. Like you don't actually see what happens. You just hear bam, bam, bam. And then like it cuts to them after they're done. Just them laying there.
oh my gosh.
That was wonderful.
Yeah.
Wait,
gosh.
to the Batmobile.
So, anyways, I very much enjoyed this adaptation of the Joker, and him just being a normal guy who's just crazy.
Yeah.
You know, and it what was the Batman quote of we're all just one bad day away from being like
I mean,
you.
that's basically it.
Like
that's
that-
what
that's
Joker
kinda
said in the
what
Killing
I-
joke. Yeah.
That's kind of what I felt this whole time as I was like, oh, Like, this is literally just a guy who's crazy, who has had enough bad days in a row where he just is pushed to his physical limit.
Right. And I guess before we move on from story, because this is something that I think is very important to like that point, what are we doing?
Do you wish to speak on the story?
I mean, you two basically kind of said, I mean, with the whole thing with the insanity, I've always enjoyed a plot that kind of focuses more on the villain side and, you know, from that villain's perspective, and the insanity, you know, that just going, you know, mentally crazy and just kind of getting inside the head of somebody who's, like you said, has had one too many bad days, and there it is. I don't know. That really kind of drew me in because it's interesting. It's interesting to see that kind of psychological change, and so that's my very quick thoughts about the plot.
But that actually does relate to what I was going to say.
Okay.
So, hey, perfect segue.
Yay!
Yay! The Virgin Circus gets shut down for a day.
It's your one break.
Due to the lack of funding from the amount of people having sex, the Virgin Circus will no longer be operating this location. Really shouldn't have opened this on a college campus. This is a bad business decision.
No.
But anyway, my point was, before I got sidetracked by the Immortal Circus, is that by Monty Python's Virgin Circus. But God, my brain just was too busy thinking about the monkeys abducting people. I'm still stuck in the joke. But points aside, is that this movie does make it very clear, like, you can kind of relate to Arthur in the beginning. Like, you know, he gets beat up by the kids at first, the sign gets broken, he has a mom he has to care for and all that stuff. Like, they do enough of a job to make him sympathetic where you want to root for him.
He's a human. He's not just a mentally ill, like, animal almost.
Right. And that's one of the most important things you have to do when writing any Batman villain, because most of them are somewhat insane or they deal with mental illnesses to some degree. That's not a knock at anyone. It's just a fact. And I really did appreciate how this movie didn't try to villainize mental illnesses. And they very much tried to, like, present it as, hey, this is what happens when you push someone like this too far. The system was failing him and not, like, you know, he just wasn't inherently evil.
Yeah.
And that's what I really appreciate about it. I think that's enough about plot. I think we've said our pieces, and I'm sure we'll get to other parts of it as we go on. So, spin the nega wheel, Aaron.
Spin the nega wheel, okay.
Tuner!
Neg it up.
What?
What did you just say?
I said neg it up.
Okay.
So his catchphrase?
Spectrum.
Spectrum Internet, man.
Yeah. Not a good time.
It's pretty slow.
All right. Anyways, let's know it's not slow. The nega wheel.
Amen, brother.
All right. We're rolling.
We're good. We're good.
And we have oh boy, Brice's favorite, the underlying political theme.
I think they live in a society. I don't know.
Yeah. What a society.
Oh, okay, boys.
Yeah,
So,
you got it.
do I dare start off this?
I mean, hey, we kind of made a whole big thing about how you didn't want to talk about it, so don't tease the audience, okay, Shane?
Okay. What'd you say?
Shane teases the audience a lot with things that never gets to them.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
So don't be him.
Why is this the Cook on Shane episode? We open it up. Shane's not here because he would have talked by now. We love Shane. He loves to yap. You know,
In my defense, the amount of times he's cooked on me when I was on the radio show was like astronomical.
you know what?
Aaron can attest to that.
You know
yeah,
what?
no,
No, that's true. That's actually true.
This is payback, you know.
This is just the way we work. When you're not here, you get roasted. So if you don't want it, like, you have to show up. It's just the way
I am
it is.
scared of all the heat that I've caught while I wasn't here.
It's like an inferno.
Someone called Dante.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
So, underlying political theme, I noticed a few. So, I'm big into politics. I'm not really going to share my side of it. I'm just going to kind
He's
of
a
talk
proud
about
Green Party member.
Oh yeah. We all know.
Jeez. So,
Such disdain.
so,
You don't like whoever's running?
Dude, they go so hard. If only I knew their name.
So, there was obviously, like Charlie mentioned, the society, but there was a lot of
Society.
I'm trying to think of the best way.
Well,
a lot of
society
there was
going
a
on.
clash. There was a
Sure.
social
a societal
clash,
clash.
a social clash between the rich and the poor almost.
Yeah.
And that was very well shown by how all the people who lived in the less fortunate areas of Gotham responded to when Arthur killed the 3 Wall Street men.
Right.
And then it also is kind of shown again by how guys like Thomas Wayne replied to it.
Sure.
And how, what was the name? I can't remember if it's Franklin Murray or Murray Franklin.
I think it's Murray Franklin.
Murray Franklin. Yeah, that's right. Murray Franklin and Thomas Wayne respond to the killing of those 3 men.
Right.
But then you've got the other guys who Arthur works with at the beginning of the movie. What was it called? Ha-Has or something?
Yeah, the Haas.
Yeah, the Ha-Has. You see how they kind of respond, and they're kind of in the middle almost, which I thought was a really neat thing of the people who were close to Arthur. They kind of thought it was like, at least from what I gathered, it seemed that they thought it was too far to kill them, but yet there are things that need to be changed, you know?
Sure.
Which I like that because it presented the kind of 3 sides of the story, you know?
Right.
And it was the thing that I was worried about also going in was, is this movie just a blanket excuse to make a political statement about not liking the rich or thinking that the upper class should be brought down? Like I wasn't quite sure. Was this movie just a politically charged statement and there's nothing more, and that's why people didn't like it? But then as I watched it, I was like, no, there was a point to bringing in the politics and the political theme behind it, and there was it was used surprisingly well, and I also found out that not as many people hated it as I was informed.
Right. I guess to touch on that, because I do have a little bit of a thing to say about, like, you know, politics and storytelling, especially nowadays with, like, so many people online very much under the impression that you can't put politics and storytelling. That's just fundamentally untrue. If you think that, you're either not paying attention or just, you need to educate yourself on how all this kind of stuff works. Star Wars is based on the Vietnam War. The Stormtroopers are based off of Nazis. Everyone knows this. You can't really go anywhere in storytelling in Hollywood without finding some kind of symbolism or messaging for some kind of political party. Obviously, you know, Hollywood, there's a lot of left people there. That doesn't make it bad. It's more just, hey, that's just naturally what they're going to preach. And in my opinion, if you look at this from a Warner Brothers business executive standpoint, they made a Joker movie without a Batman. Mm-hmm. To me, that seems, at least if I was an executive, a little silly. Why not throw a little Batman in there? Which is why the whole Bruce Wayne thing and Thomas Wayne thing, I thought it was a little weird, because I don't think they needed to be there. But if you kind of look at what this movie was, it was a lower budget, R-rated character study. It wasn't like one of their big tentpole, this is a Justice League movie, this is a Superman movie, everyone's going to watch this.
55 million.
Right. And not everyone's going to watch an R-rated Joker movie, especially not all the kids and teenagers you want to target with the toys.
Yeah.
So, to me, this more just kind of came off of, hey, this was a filmmaker's vision. Obviously, I think it's important. Because I think if you're to say, oh, we don't like politics and storytelling, but we like those politics, those can stay. Whatever side of the aisle you're on. This isn't me yelling at anyone in particular. It's more of just, there's politics and storytelling, you have to deal with it. But there is a difference. They need to be interwoven within the characters themselves, which is why we like this movie, is because Arthur, we understand him as a character first, not just his political leanings, or sometimes lack thereof. It very much comes off of these politics and this kind of message of the rich versus the poor, the high versus the lower class, and how all this works, which is more used to enhance the story rather than deter it. That's the goal. You use politics, whatever you believe in, to enhance your story and not just use it to preach at people. That's the goal. That's why Star Wars has stuck around for so long, despite everyone's attempts to ruin it. That's why certain Marvel properties are here. That's why DC is here. You can't shake a stick in Hollywood or comics or anything without finding politics. It's just the way it is. And if you don't know that, respectfully educate yourself. It's just the way it is.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be hard to follow up that act.
Nega wheel!
Well, guys, what a performance. I don't know.
This is Casey Kasem.
This is Casey Kasem. It's going to be hard to top a performance like that, and that's why it's number 1 on the countdown.
The countdown of things people don't want to listen to. A 20-year-old white guy lecturing you about politics in movies. This is Casey Kasem Ghost, hating to be here.
Actually, it turns out we do have a new number 1. It's the AA Revolving Door Show.
We're in hell.
Oh, we're in hell. We are in
Hillbilly
hell.
hell.
Oh, boy, yeah. Okay, so yeah, you said it all. I had nothing to add.
Well,
Yeah.
Aaron,
I
Spin that wheel, baby boy.
I actually didn't know how I was going to handle that.
Yeah.
Like,
Now you did.
I did. I did it, boys.
You
Good
did
job.
it.
Yay! Whee! Do I get a gold star?
Oh.
I can maybe print you a black and white one on the label maker. That's about all you're going to get.
Whee!
Didn't Shane use up all the labels in the label maker?
That's true. He did.
Ah, Shane. You fidgety little finch.
What was he labeling?
Nothing!
It's just, I don't know, man.
This is my pinky.
Yeah.
Spin the wheel, Aaron. Spin that
Yeah.
baby wheel.
Yeah, before I start fuming, I'm going to,
Yeah.
we're going to press on.
Like a certain dog.
Yeah. I liked that movie.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. Speaking of oh, God, Murray Franklin.
Yeah, man. Aaron, you go. I've been yapping for too long.
You've been yapping for too long.
And I've actually been talking on this episode, so
True.
yeah, Aaron, your turn.
Yeah. So, I guess in terms of, well, actually, this works pretty well because we're talking about like media personality. And,
Hey,
well, hey, here I am.
I'm a media personality.
No, I don't do late night.
Not yet.
I do sometimes fill in late nights on HMI, but late night personality. Anyways, so just in the real world of people on late night talk shows, I mean, they obviously tend to get a little political, a lot. I mean, some people try. Some of them try to. One of them tried to stay away from it. I forget.
I'm sorry, Jimmy Fallon. I
Yeah.
tried to love you.
Yeah,
I really did.
yeah. But politics sells, and there you go.
I mean, yeah.
That's just how it is. But yeah, just with the whole political talk, with the talk show and everything, he's gonna obviously we as media people, we tend to poke fun at other people.
'Cause it's funny.
It is funny. It's hilarious. I mean, I brought back Florida Man. Just by the way,
Without me.
I mean, I don't know. You want to pre-tape some crap? I don't know. Put you back on.
I don't think they want me there, dude.
Maybe not. Maybe some of those comments. I don't know. They know about this, so hey,
Thank God.
Thank
So,
God.
Charlie, we're looking at your application. All you have is Virgin Circus in big red font.
You're in.
Welcome to WHMI. You start now.
You start now. Go.
Go. Man, virgins, am I right? But up. WHMI is how the most listened to radio station in the U.S. of A.
Oh yeah, we're in the big leagues now.
Yeah.
Anyways, so the media personalities, we like to make fun of, other people, and having that opportunity as like a guest for him to come on the show, and obviously he's in this point in the movie, he's in his like derailment. He's
Yeah.
going off the chains.
He's wearing a red suit now.
He's wearing a red suit now. He's he's going crazy, and having, I guess, that platform to start this unintentionally start this movement,
Right.
that happened out in the streets, and with Murray Franklin, of course, he died.
Lol.
Yeah, so that happened.
He got what he fucking deserved.
There you go. He got what he farmer deserved.
I love the Brock Baker, the man of a cajillion voices. He did a cover of like that scene where he voiced Goofy as Joker, and Murray was Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah,
It's really,
I actually saw that.
it's very funny.
yeah. So that's kind of, I don't know. That's kind of my thing. It's just the media personality. So
All right.
yeah.
So I kind of want to talk about him as a character. Something interesting. I mentioned it earlier how he responded to the killing of those 3 Wall Street guys.
Yeah.
But then I also kind of remembered there were a couple scenes that kind of pointed that Murray might not just be kind of what I accused him of being, like, one spin of the wheel ago.
Right.
Where you see where the the producer of the show was with Murray
Yeah.
when they walked into the guest room.
Dressing room, yeah.
The dressing room, that's the word I was looking for. Where Joker was getting himself ready, he was making sure he's looking all good,
Feeling himself up.
feeling yeah. And he was like doing good, and he got to meet Murray, and he addresses Murray by his first name, and the producer's like, "That's Mr. Franklin to you," and Murray's like, "No, it's all right." He was like he seemed really nice to Joker.
Sure.
Which then later on it is kind of revealed that he brought the Joker on to the show to kind of make fun of him.
Yeah.
Right. Which
goes in with the media personality, as I was trying to say. I was trying to get my thoughts, my ducks in a line, if you will.
Yeah.
But with that, I hate to cut you off. I'm so sorry.
No, go for it.
But with the media personality, I make fun of the Florida men that I talk about.
Well, right.
We all did. We all crack jokes about it. I still do because it's funny. But I mean, that kind of, I'm trying to think of the best way I can describe that kind of jerk aspect to him, to bring him on just to keep egging him on,
right?
And he's already that insane lunatic, and you're just gonna keep pushing and pushing and pushing until eventually you set him off the edge. Back to you.
And that's something I was gonna kind of point out. Is it's like you see there was a two-sidedness to him,
sure,
but then you also kind of see maybe that old Murray kind of, when he was like, you don't know a thing about me, when he was saying that to the Joker, and it was like, well, maybe there is some past to Murray where he grew up kind of similar to Joker, where he was either maybe abused, and that's how he got to his situation, but then he made something of himself, which, granted, that's not to say that Joker wasn't trying to make something of himself. Obviously he was trying his best to make people laugh and to be a clown and a comedian, but it just, Murray happened to be more fortunate with his situation. So that kind of brought in an interesting dynamic of he was a very double-sided person, where it's like you can't really trust what side of Murray you were seeing. Was he really a nice guy? Was he just some jerk on the show? Was he just doing this because it got him views and he's nice to Joker, but the making fun of him is what brought in more attention and more money? Was it the producer's idea to have him on the show? Like, you don't really know,
right? Which
I kind of like, because it leaves it open-ended, and then obviously whether it was Murray's idea or not, it wound him up dead.
Sure.
So that's kind of my thoughts on the character of Murray Franklin.
Yeah, and like generally my quick thoughts, because this also kind of ties into how I view Thomas Wayne, because I think that's also on the wheel. So we might as well just do a quick 2-for-1 here.
Yeah.
About how I kind of view like the upper class society, about how they've treated the lower class. It is very much from coming from a place of, we know better than you. And that's not me really saying anything. That's more just, hey, Thomas Wayne literally says, I'm the only hope for you to fix this city. Mm-hmm. Like, his words, not mine, Mm-hmm. And, outside of, how do I view Thomas Wayne outside of this? But it does generally kind of speak to the point, like, hey, a lot of these people, like, either they don't really care for the lower class, don't trust them, and are kind of there to make a bit of an example of them. It's just the way that we see a lot of these characters operate. Do we really know if Joker's mom actually did get with Bruce, or sorry, not Bruce, that'd be gross, Thomas Wayne? Probably not. But because she was delusional. And we've shown by Joker himself, he deluded himself into thinking he had a girlfriend at one point.
Yeah.
Which we'll get to that eventually.
Mm-hmm, but then also in that you do see the adoption papers.
Sure.
So,
probably not.
Yeah. So it's neat.
It's a very fun, and outside of the way that I just did not really care for how bringing Bruce into this is, again, I really could have thought this could have just been its own thing. I don't need to see Bruce Wayne in this Joker kind of Elseworlds own thing kind of story, as it kind of makes Joker responsible for Batman existing, and that's just weird.
I kind of like it.
I mean, it's cool, but it's more just kind of like, if you're thinking about age differences and all that stuff, it's like, man, Joker, you that's a child.
You're going to be an Arkham retirement home when Batman gets to you.
Exactly. Right. It's like, that's just a geriatric clown getting destroyed by Batman, which really only fuels the argument that Batman is a rich guy who beats up the mentally disabled.
Yeah.
And I don't like what that does for Twitter. But anyway, yeah.
So are we talking about the Wayne family then right now,
I guess we are now.
Okay,
so we might as well get to that section while we're here.
I will remove
Thomas
this from
Wayne.
Here.
I do actually really like a lot of what this movie has done with how it kind of molded its own thing of Thomas Wayne isn't this genuinely super good guy, right, who we've seen him in the past where he was a doctor before he was a businessman, so he wants to help people.
Sure.
Versus now he's a politician, and
right,
and he's just not a good-hearted man, which yet again also plays into kind of the underlying it's not even underlying the political tone, the political tone of the movie.
This movie is very subtle about how it hates the rich.
Yeah.
I wonder if kill the rich.
I was about to say
put on any of these sides.
I was about to say kill the rich was the.
What does it mean?
What does it mean?
Me psychoanalyzing kill the rich. What could it mean?
So, there was that definitely played into this the political tone and arching theme of the movie.
Right.
So, I do like though how it felt for once we actually had like a worth it story for Thomas Wayne and why him and his wife ended up killed.
Sure.
It wasn't just they decided to take a stroll down Crime Alley. It wasn't just they were alone at night. It was
Right.
like, oh, they're trying to escape a political riot, and then somebody sees them because they're the center of the political riot
And
decides to kill him and kill his wife.
because he called them clowns.
Exactly. Which
Yeah.
then obviously started everything with the whole clown
Right.
symbolism.
And I know I mentioned a little bit earlier, as I don't think that's a bad idea. I think for this movie, this specific like circumstance, it works very well. It ties in Thomas Wayne to the center of the action. And as much as I don't like the idea, it's not even that I don't like Thomas Wayne being a bad guy. I like Thomas Wayne being a bad guy. Like, I think that's very reasonable. Because again, I'm a huge fan of Matt Reeves' The Batman from a couple of years ago, and they very much did a very similar thing where the Waynes aren't all you think they are. And I like that. I'm not saying let's not villainize the Waynes. They're a bunch of rich white guys. Heck yeah, Batman. But,
Yeah.
you know, it's one of those things where, from my personal comic Virgin Circus land, where it's, I don't like that the Waynes made the Jokers. But, again, in the context of this movie, I think it does work very well. It's more of me just trying to separate that's not how it usually works, guys.
It's like the substitute teacher syndrome.
Basically. I'm just, like, sitting here going, well, I mean, this, because, again, I'm not analyzing this from, like, a script perspective. Oh, this is really cool. But I'm analyzing this from, like, no. I want it my way. You changed the comic book character. Grrr!
Throwing a temper tantrum.
My phone fell.
That reminds me of a scene in a movie.
Ah, man, which one?
I wonder.
Oh, yeah. Open season.
I thought you were referring to what happened in this scene, Charlie.
No, I was making a joke because I knew that's what you're insinuating. But I just really want to talk about open season. Let's stop talking about Joker and start talking about open season.
This episode, Joker / open season.
That thumbnail would go so hard.
Title alone.
Open season on Joker. Otis lives in a society. It's just a bear with crappy, like, clown makeup.
In the convenience store.
Yeah, where he's like, where the bear's like moving his hips around or whatever. Because I keep thinking of the Instagram reel where it's like the kids messing around at family movie night and the bear's twerking or whatever. And he just yells, "Gat!" And he gets kicked out of family movie night.
Well, he got what he deserved.
Yep. Yeah, dude. He's a proud member of the Virgin Circus.
He's our stunt bear.
Stunt bear. Ah, yes, this is our stunt bear.
What a
Don't
guy.
they normally have bears at circuses?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes.
Yeah.
Aaron, do you have
They're
any
the-
thoughts on bears at circuses or just...
Yeah, they're
Virgins?
the ones that...
What are your thoughts on virgins, Aaron?
Virgins.
Pro? Con?
Oh my god!
Give me the Venn diagram.
Free time.
Are you nega virgin?
The anti-virgin. Oh my god. What is today?
Hey, listen, the bears at the circus. I do have some comments on that.
Really?
They got to bring back the bear riding the unicycle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the Russian classic.
So I'm
Bring it
talking
back.
about stunt bear.
Yeah, bring it back. Miss it. We miss it.
I just walk into your room and just have a framed picture of a bear in a unicycle. Like,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh wow,
He wasn't kidding.
this is a lot more serious than I thought it would be. Spin the wheel, Aaron. I'm getting distracted. Yeah.
Did you even share your thoughts on the Waynes? We asked you about open season and virgins.
Right, that's my
I want
thought.
to share.
No, I'm good. That's my thought. I'm going to be a very quiet person.
Official
this
episode notes. Aaron's thoughts on Thomas Wayne open season. What does he
yeah.
mean by that?
I don't know. It's funny.
Bear.
It's a bear, yeah.
Timestamp the political comments.
God, who? This is just the most juxtaposition of a podcast we've ever recorded so far.
Yes, it is.
Maybe we should just stick to going band for band with the plot.
But it's not as funny.
No, it's not as funny. It wouldn't have produced Open Season and Bears on Unicycles
And Virgin
Circus. Right.
Oh my god.
Oh, spin the wheel. Okay, here we go. We're spinning.
We gotta go.
We're spinning.
We gotta find it.
All right, we have landed on music score and soundtrack.
Oh, baby.
Oh, baby.
Charlie, do you want to open up this one? I've opened up a couple.
You go, girlfriend. You go.
Okay. So, resident musician here.
Yeah.
I was very excited with this. So, I get a lot of people are pretentious about soundtrack and score being differentiated.
I wasn't doing that to insult you. It's because I've
No.
made that exact same mistake.
No, I know.
So.
It's just shut up. You're white. So,
You are
my-
too.
yeah, I know.
We are of the same melanin, my brother.
My brother in melanin.
Oh.
So,
All right.
Really hope WHMI isn't listening to this one.
They will. Don't worry.
my bad, gang. My bad.
Brice walks to the WHMI. My bad, gang.
Here's Aaron's resignation form.
I'm resigning on his behalf.
Fire me, boy. So, I really liked all that they did with the music, whether it was soundtrack or score wise. There was a lot of lack of music in this movie. I
Yes.
noticed, and the only real song that they played on their soundtrack was, what is it called? This Is Life, or That Is
That's
Life.
Life.
That's Life by
Yeah,
Frank Sinatra.
yeah.
My
I couldn't
favorite
think of.
Frank Sinatra song.
It's a great song, but that's the thing. Is it? Didn't they open with it as well? Wasn't it one of the first songs that they played?
No, it was at the end.
No,
But I thought they played it in the
they
beginning
played
as
it.
well.
They played it in different parts, like when
Yeah.
like they're watching the show. It's like in the end, that's life. Da, 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 da.
Yeah, and so I liked that, where it was, there was a lot of silence, so you noticed when the music kicked in.
Sure.
Which played into it also was the lack of music created a lot of awkward silences.
Right.
Versus it would build more of a tension if you had music playing. It would kind of be like, oh, well, what's going to happen now? Versus you just have nothing. It's like you're uncomfortable. That's part of it. Was
Right.
Like Charlie said, was the secondhand embarrassment. That was most of the discomfort, was either secondhand embarrassment or like
Just
you know,
tension.
just tension, yeah. So I liked that, but I also liked a lot at the end how he's sitting there awkwardly across from the his
like psychiatrist.
psychiatrist.
or
Yeah,
guard
that's
or
the word I
whatever.
was looking for. While he's in the mental institution at the end, and he's smoking, and he's just kind of sitting there, and he starts like kind of not even singing, but kind of saying the lyrics
Yeah.
as the song plays, where it kind of comes in abruptly, where it's like in the middle of an awkward silence, the song plays, he kind of starts laughing a little bit and saying the lyrics, and then we find out about a moment later he kills the psychiatrist and walks out,
Right.
and the song is still playing happily as if this is like a happy ending to a movie, and
Right.
it creates a very eerie feeling where it's like this should not be what I'm hearing while I'm
Right.
watching this scene kind of play out before my eyes of
Right.
his, I think it was 6th or 7th direct kill in that movie that he had
Yeah.
made, and you just kind of see the bloody shoes behind him as he's dancing down the hall singing
Yeah.
the song, and it creates just such an eerie unwanted feeling where I was like,
Right.
I actually like this, so but then also the score itself was very good. I the use of higher stringed instruments like the violin came in very nicely to create a what's the word I'm looking for?
You got it.
Jeez. Not tense, but like a
Tone.
it was like a shrill sound to kind of match the
Okay.
the discomfort of the film,
Right.
So that's my thoughts. Aaron, Charlie.
You can go.
I
if you
can
want.
I can fill in kind of. Mine are going to be very short. I'm saving up mine for a certain other show and movie combination. That's
Oh golly gee!
that's going to be
Those are coming up soon.
those are coming up very soon, and I'm very ready. But as for soundtrack wise, of course I'm a music guy too. I don't play. I do sometimes, but
Yeah.
you're the resident musician.
Yeah.
I'm the resident music enjoyer.
I'm a
Movie and music resident virgin. Movie and music enjoyer, Aaron.
Yeah.
Charles Robinson, Virgin at Law.
You need a moment after that one.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, I'm an offender and a virgin at law.
Yeah.
What are they going to do next?
Yeah. What will they think of next?
What will they think of next, dude?
Where will he strike next?
Where will he not pull next?
Oh gosh.
Okay. Moving right along. So yeah, I did very much enjoy. I actually pulled up the soundtrack here for some of the songs in here. Of course, a lot of oldies in here. I mean, you have Jimmy Durante. You've got Frank Sinatra. White Room from Cream. That was in one of the scenes. That was the one where he's taken to the police car.
Yeah.
By the city streets.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
playing White Room, and the soundtrack, of course, is great. They got a lot of classics in here, and which kind of I do see kind of plays into that. Where he's trying to be the clown and the comedian, and I like their choices of music here. Of course, That's Life. Like I said, it's my favorite one, but that song just fits all too well,
Right?
And it's great. Like you were saying, with the higher stringed instruments, kind of creating this that kind of shrill sound to it. The score plays in with the psychological changes, and it's great. It helps with the mood, and of course, also it doesn't pop up all the time. I feel like I'm parroting, and I'm sorry for the parroting.
It's all right.
It's all right, Shane.
But yeah, I'm Shane today.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's over. It's really
Jover.
He does listen to every episode, so he's gonna know.
Okay, hey Shane.
Hi.
It's just as Jover as the Spider-Man 2 episode.
Yeah. But yeah, the whole atmosphere of the movie, whether it had the score in it, like there was part of the score playing, or whether it wasn't, it all collectively added to that atmosphere, which was really, really cool.
You guys basically said most of my thoughts. Let's just spin the wheel.
Okay.
All right.
I don't want to waste anyone's time parroting, so let's just keep her moving.
Yeah.
Thank you, Shane.
No problem.
Anti-Shane.
The anti-Shane.
nega Shane.
The nega
Nega
Shane.
Shane.
It's just Shade like white and black or whatever, like or deep fried or something. Like I don't know.
He's got dark brown hair.
No, I'm thinking of like Shadow the Hedgehog or like that kind of color scheme,
Oh,
or
yeah.
like or something like that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, let's spin our nega wheel for nega Shane. In his honor.
Shadow the Hedgehog, subtle plug. We're gonna do Sonic 3 eventually this year.
Yeah. Eventually.
Keep
We're
in tune.
we're getting there. Okay, we have landed on symbolism.
Okay.
Trash.
So,
There's a lot of trash.
does anybody want to open?
Trash.
Charlie, you go.
And that's his thoughts. All right.
I'm the. So Charlie, what are your thoughts on Joker? Trash. But no,
I'm the trash man. I throw the garbage all over the ring.
I'm the trash man. I'm on strike. I'm not doing the garbage, but that's what happened. But in all seriousness, I do like how dirty and gross this movie is, which it will be combining symbolism and I guess like, set design or whatever. We kind of listed this one
I
with
think that
atmosphere.
atmosphere.
Yeah, on the wheel.
Yeah.
Because they do kind of go hand in hand. One thing that I do really appreciate about this movie and the Batman from 2022 is just how gross Gotham is. Like you can really tell, like when you get into like those areas where the less fortunate are, it's so gross, it's so seedy. There's trash everywhere. People are closing down their businesses, and you just feel bad for everyone.
Yeah.
And it very much creates the impression of Gotham is somewhere where this kind of person would be driven to this insanity.
Yeah.
Which, again, when you're portraying mental illness on screen, it's very easy to kind of slip into making them the victim, or them the villain, sorry, instead of making them the victim. And the way that the symbolism, like very much set design worked in this movie to very much portray Gotham as, again, very seedy, graffiti is everywhere. It always feels kind of dingy, except for the places where high society is, where we see Thomas Wayne and where we see Murray and all those guys. It very much does create this very clear picture. They're two separate worlds. These are not, I mean, obviously, technically they are the same city, but it'd be like if you went to Staten and then you went to SNL, like two very different places of New York, you know?
Yeah.
And I did appreciate that. Like, I did appreciate how I was able to see Gotham as very much this, not one distinct Chicago-looking city, but very much different boroughs and sects. I think that's one of the most interesting things you can do with Gotham as a place. You can't just make it all like everything looks the same.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, oh, well, the crime parts don't really look as different, or why would the rich stay here if everything looks like crazy? I love Tim Burton. I love his designs for Gotham. He's actually, in my opinion, like one of the best, like, in terms of what I think Gotham should look like. I think he nailed it in one when it comes to film. But there's parts of his Gotham where it's like, everything looks creepy.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you be here?
Yeah.
We'll get to his Batman eventually.
Or Christopher Nolan's in some ways looks almost too upper class,
Right.
except for some areas.
Right. And this movie generally does strike the perfect balance of you're able to very much set the symbolism that you need about how a lot of the lower class people are trash, hence why there's all the trash, why you don't see it in really well, I mean, obviously it's in the upper class areas, they tell us in the first scene, but you don't see it as much. That's important. And I very much did appreciate what this movie was going for. It's gross. The lighting was gross too. We'll get to, I guess, all three, because why not?
Yeah.
We have a wheel to get through.
Yes. So the symbolism, something I kind of noticed was as the Joker's mentality kind of changes, so does his physical like appearance of how he dresses or
Sure.
kind of what he does, right? So you see, firstly, he starts out, he's got the clown nose, he's got the kind of hat looking,
Yeah, he's not showing his real
the
hair.
headpiece. Yeah, he's not showing his real hair. His hair is his natural color. Like I said, like the headpiece, and he's got the big shoes, right?
Oh, yeah, man.
And slowly throughout the course of the movie, that changes one by one.
Yeah.
But the biggest part that I noticed was a change was when the headpiece that he was wearing to hide his real hair came off. That was immediately after is when he took his first 3 lives, which I kind of liked, as it almost looked like a mask almost, right? Like right there is where he decided, everything was gone. He's not wearing the nose anymore.
Right, that was the real him.
That was the real him. He's not wearing the shoes or anything. He, because they said, we got a kicker, right? That was the scene where it was the second beatdown scene.
The subway, yeah.
And he tried to kick. He's wearing his normal shoes, and that's just where he pulled the trigger, shot them all.
Yeah.
And started to run. So then you see where he's trying to do the stand-up comedy routine. He's got the vest and the suit like, every other comedy person had. And then eventually just kind of ascends into his full suit with his hair and his makeup. And, I like that. It was kind of symbolic of there was a physical change that occurred with the mental change.
Right. I appreciated that part too. Like very much, again, Verge of Circus, he's not wearing purple, how dare he? But the red's a very striking color.
Yes.
Like it's a very aggressive, very I mean, I guess loud is the word I'm looking for when it comes to wardrobe here.
Yeah, he's dressed like the freaking Condiment King wearing red and yellow.
But he also has blue. Condiment King wears mostly blue. But anyway, fun fact, the Condiment King almost killed Robin one time.
Yep.
Because he had an allergic reaction. Was it mustard or something?
Virgin Circus.
Don't. Stop. I'm so offended. Oh no, Brice. Whatever am
Virgin
I going
Circus.
to do? This is the last episode Charlie was on. But but no, like again, like he becomes a lot louder, to your point. Just,
Yeah.
He obviously dyes the hair, he's a whole mess. He's a whole thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. You basically said everything I was kind of thinking when it comes to the character.
Yeah.
Aaron, what do you got?
Nothing.
Wheel.
Wheel boy.
Wheel of misfortune, Aaron.
Wheel of Misfortune.
Wheel him, me boy.
All right, let's see. Got to take that off the list. And are we taking Atmosphere off too?
Yeah, why not? We kind of talked about it.
Yeah. One thing, I'm not sure how symbolic it is, but one of the physical changes that only stayed for a brief scene is when he killed the person who gave him the gun, his one-time friend. He stabbed him with a pair of scissors.
Yeah.
Is at that point he was not wearing a shirt. He was just wearing pants and the face makeup with the green hair. That was a very kind of eerie look that he had, which I liked, as that's where he killed the person. So then the red blood on his face against the white
his makeup
was a very good clash.
Very
and then
Kratos of him.
Yes. And then obviously he was like, to the one person who was nice to him, he just let him go. Which
Right, in a
which
very
was
awkward scene where it's like, can you reach the lock? Yeah.
yeah.
In it's weird, gross,
And it was
sadistic, funny
And then
way.
kissed him on the top of the head because he was bald.
Well, yeah.
So it also just kind of showed a point of, which I guess we probably should have talked about, another plot or political theme of like, just be nice to people.
Yeah.
That was another overarching theme, is like,
Shane.
if like, think if the kids never beat up Joker, would he have still had his job?
Probably.
Because then he wouldn't have had to get a gun.
No, he was given the gun.
He was given the gun because he got beat up.
Yeah.
So then this whole movie might not have happened if those kids in the first place wouldn't have just beat him up and took him the sign and all
That's
that.
the fun part. One small change makes a world of difference.
So just be nice to people.
All right.
Yeah.
Wheel.
I won't
Wheel.
yell. I won't yell at every Popeyes employee now.
Maybe I won't challenge the freaking Wendy's person to ritual combat when they don't give me my food on time.
Maybe I won't destroy Arby's for fun.
Arby's, actually. I just had Arby's. Pretty good.
What?
I just had Arby's the other day. It was pretty good.
So sorry for you.
It's feeling Arby's night.
When's it Arby's night? I remember one time I was talking to you, Aaron.
Yeah.
you're describing like what you were having for dinner that night, or whatever. It's like it's Arby's night, and I'm like, why is it Arby's night in your house? Why is that a thing?
It's a scary thing.
Oh,
I don't like Arby's night.
Is it like wheel? Is it Arby's night in the wheel, Aaron?
Yeah, we're in full ride Arby's night.
Title of the podcast: Joker, open season, Arby's.
night. What a thumbnail!
Can't wait. Okay, let's spin that funny wheel.
You got it.
Let's see.
You got it, big champ.
We have landed on lighting.
Lighting.
I mean, we kind of discussed it earlier, but man, this movie's gross as heck.
Well, I was going to point out there's a lot of either monotone colors or very static colors, right? It's nothing
Right.
very eye-catching until Joker puts on the red suit, you know?
Sure.
But I also noticed, like, it almost kind of hurt to see how there was, like, so much white in the movie, whether it's a white room, the hospital, the bathroom, like, the dingy white was a very contrast to, like, how bright it normally is.
Which
Right.
plays into the song being the soundtrack.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I love.
Yeah.
And then the one more thing that I noticed was right at the end, where even on the Murray Franklin show, you see it's like brighter almost for every guest, for every person, every time they show it, until the Joker walks on. It kind of seems dim, and the lights don't feel as hot on him.
Right.
Versus then you see right at the end where he's standing on top of the cop car and all the lights are everywhere and the fire is burning because of the riots. You see there's like this festival of lights almost unintentionally being thrown in his honor.
Yeah.
Where it kind of seems like he's finally accepted by his own type of people almost.
Yeah.
Which is kind of scary given the circumstances.
Yeah, and then I guess, because we kind of started talking about plot again, but, on the topic of that, because one thing I did find interesting, he's always talking, because we just mentioned be nice to people.
Mm-hmm.
He was rescued, essentially.
Yeah.
And they were nice to him. Mm-hmm. Circumstances be what they be, but I
Yeah.
just think that's very interesting.
No,
But
yeah.
Back to lighting. Aaron,
Yeah.
speak.
Back to lighting. Okay. like I said, I'm going to be very quiet this one, but hey. I'll throw in my 2 cents when I feel it's necessary, I guess. The lighting, yeah, like you said, I don't want to. I'm not Shane. I don't want to Shane here, but the parroting. Sorry, Shane. Not sorry, Shane.
Parroting. You probably want a cracker? Shane, want a podcast? Ahoy, it's me, Shane.
Rock, time to tell you something later. Anyways, lighting. Yeah, like you said, with the lighting changing to feel like it's kind of like an importance thing. With the like the spotlight on you. That's what I saw a lot in this movie. Is you can tell when just based on how on the lighting, on how and when and what parts he's going to be important, and he's going to be starting to, I guess, society. Yeah, we'll see him as important, and of course, and in the end, not in the end, but with the cop car, in that part, yeah, I mean, there's riots in the street, but he's in the spotlight.
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
finally being given that, and he's of course still in the insane.
Yeah.
But, he's in his insane spotlight now.
Exactly. But the other thing I meant to mention was how much the lights flicker, which kind of
sure.
shows a duality of, like, it shows more to the dirtiness of Gotham, or even the public transportation, the lights keep on going out.
Oh, yeah, I love the scenes where they did that.
Yes, but then also, it also seemed that they kind of lingered around the parts where the lights went out was also kind of when Joker was at his darkest, right? Like, the lights were flickering tons before he killed those 3 guys.
Yeah.
Probably the most light flickers they had. The lights flickered when he was on his imaginary date, which kind of showed that he wasn't there. And it was really neat how they used the flickering of lights to not only to kind of show to serve a dual purpose.
Yeah. And you can see that, and like, of course, it's a movie thing, sure.
Yeah.
But also, if you go to like a big city like that, I'm trying to. I don't know what the best.
Chicago, maybe?
Chicago would be the best one. There are. It's Chicago. There are the dirty, the grimy parts of the big city, and that's
like Soldier Field.
I will not argue with that. In the back, it's
Caleb Williams looks really good, and now I'm scared.
It's in the locker room. The lights are flickering.
Society likes Caleb Williams.
What a team. We're scared of that team. We don't like that team.
I'm really scared of the NFC North this year, besides the Vikings, guys.
Yeah.
The Packers are going to be really good. The Bears might actually be pretty good, so it's...
So Joker, open season, Arby's, and NFL.
Oh, boy.
What can we add to the list next?
We'll see. We'll let the wheel decide, I guess. But in that real life aspect of it too, when if you go to like a big city like that, you can see, if you go to those parts, you see that as well. So again, it fits in with the whole, you can relate in some ways to the human parts of the character. So that's my 2 cents.
No, yeah.
I don't have much more to add. Spin that wheel, baby boy.
Spin the wheel. Okay. I think did I remove what we should have removed? So we don't get repeats?
How many do we have left, Aaron?
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
7?
Halfway.
How about we pick 2 or 3 that we really want to do?
Okay. All right. Well, we'll spin and we'll see.
All right.
One more spin?
Couple more
we'll do
spins,
2
I guess.
I
was going to say like one more spin and then we pick after that.
Okay, this one is definitely a good one that we'll definitely be doing. What Phoenix did to prepare for this role.
Or just Joaquin in general. And how.
Right.
Yeah, all right.
So,
it was actually pretty recently that I found this out. His biggest preparation for the role was all he ate was 1 apple a day and smoked 1 cigarette a day.
I saw that.
Which is insane.
Right.
Which then also you see many times throughout the movie how skinny he is. You see whether it's how spiny his back is, or you see just how much his ribs protrude from his body. It's scary. Mm-hmm. In a sense, he kind of jeopardized his health to play this role.
Oh, totally. And that's for some reason, a very normal thing that Joker actors tend to do. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Jared Leto committed many crimes getting ready for playing the Joker. Heath Ledger, he put himself in a ton of situations to get ready. Because the headspace of the Joker as a character is something that fundamentally no one should be able to imagine. Mm-hmm. He's that lost. He's that insane.
Yeah.
And seeing that on screen with Joaquin and just how much he's able to sell just this super sympathetic madman was really impressive.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, yeah, it's somehow, at least in the beginning, maybe third of the movie, you feel bad for him, right?
Oh, totally.
He's a complete victim of circumstance at that point where it wasn't his fault that he's poor. It wasn't his fault that you later find his stepdad abused him. He's... Nobody chooses to be mentally, ill.
Right.
So he was a complete victim of circumstance that then just so happened to be a victim of other people's inflictment. So you feel really bad for him, but then there kind of is a line crossed where you still want to feel bad for him of maybe if something had turned out different, you wouldn't be doing this. But then at the same time, he just kind of is choosing to murder people. Even if you get past the first thing of, they started it. You see, he goes and he chooses to kill Murray Franklin. He chooses to kill his one-time friend who gave him a gun. There's just a lot that he does where you can't even feel bad anymore.
And his mom.
Oh, I forgot about his mom.
Don't forget about his mom.
I forgot he killed his mom. Yeah. And that was one of the scenes I had seen before, funny
enough.
Yeah.
The impact wore off. He kills his mom.
Nah, it's fine.
Happens to the best of us. It's like a crappy sports documentary. Wayne Who and Who was on the star or the way to his top, but then he killed his mom and won the Super Bowl.
So
I don't know, I guess I'll throw my couple cents in here. There were moments in this movie, and I don't know if this is cliche or not. This is me. There were points in this movie where I kind of forgot I was watching a movie. Like
Yeah.
this guy, like he was able to sell this character and this insanity and this, you know, this role of just being an insane character, which is the same thing as what I just said. Yay. Have fun in the editing room, Aaron. Future Aaron.
He won't.
No, he won't. He's suffering. I actually remember in the one in the last
Pulp
one,
Fiction.
in
Yeah,
Pulp Fiction,
I listened to that. That was fun.
Yeah, you said Aaron's gonna go, I'm so sorry, and I just, while I was editing, I'm so sorry. I'm miserable. Yeah, no, it was a fun episode to edit. That was a good one. But back to this one that we're currently doing. There were moments that it just he was able to sell that so well, and you know the way he prepared it, because I saw that same video. I know that same video you were talking about. Where, you know, he was just preparing for this role and, you know, sacrificing so much to, you know, for the passion, for the love of the game.
The love of the game, smoking a cigarette a day,
Yeah.
lung cancer for the love of the game,
For
Aaron.
the love of the game.
One thing to kind of jump in on the insanity is that's actually part of the reason why my dad didn't like it and has never actually sat through and finished it.
Really?
Is because it's so real. He just doesn't really want to see it, you know? Which makes perfect sense because a lot of it is based out of real world issues, you know, of
Right.
how the upper class treats the lower class or how the lower class responds to political situations. So, and mental illness being obviously the biggest of all of them.
Sure.
So it's so real. My dad said you might as well at that point just watch the news because there were no superheroes. There wasn't a Batman coming to stop it. There wasn't anything out of grasp for the real world at that point. He was like,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, if
Which
you watch,
is completely understandable.
yeah, if you watch interviews with real insane people,
Yeah.
I mean, and you put the two next to each other,
Yeah.
it's terrifying.
Right.
How well you were able, because of course, you know, you can try to play an insane character. Some work, some don't. But this was like a step ahead.
Yeah.
Right.
This was like, whoa, okay, is he actually insane now?
Yeah.
Have we crossed the line of acting to just now we're here?
That's what method acting does to you, man.
Yeah.
I mean, when Jared Leto method acted to play Morbius, he got insane, all right.
Yeah. Well, it's Morbius. So, yeah.
It's Morbid time. So that's the next thing is NFL Morbius. We're lining it up.
Oh, my
but
God.
so one more quick thought is he just the way he nailed the neurological disorder of the laughing.
Oh my God, yeah.
Like
Perfect.
the way he like would try to like cover his mouth or like it looked like he was like in pain or crying at
Oh
some
my
points.
God, yeah.
And you see at some points like the makeup would run down his face. Like it was.
That's where most of my embarrassment came from.
I wasn't even.
It's just so real.
Embarrassment for me. It was like a discomfort of like this guy is genuinely psychotic, but we have an actor good enough to play him is
Whoa.
kind of scary.
Right. And again, that's not an easy role to
No.
do. Like, you very much have to commit to the bit if you want to do it well.
Oh yeah.
And that requires a ton of self-sacrifice. And again, credit to Joaquin. The man nailed it.
Oh yeah.
And I'm very interested to see how he's going to do in the sequel coming out in October, which we're
Yeah.
covering.
Yeah,
Very
I
excited
actually
about that.
I really do want to see that.
Yeah.
So, very excited for the Joker too, which is why we're doing the Joker one right now. Because hey,
Yeah.
why not both?
Why not both? And well, let's see if he can nail it again. My vote is yes.
I bet he will.
yeah, my
All right.
vote is 100.
My question is whether Lady Gaga can.
You know, we'll see.
We'll see.
So, Aaron,
Yes.
what's left on this wheel? What do we
So
want to end this
I'm
on?
gonna X out Phoenix performance as well because we basically just went over.
Oh, I
that.
didn't realize those were two separate ones. I thought we
okay,
just had
well, that's
Joaquin
perfect.
Phoenix.
Yeah. So the only ones we have left is how camera work, how Bruce Wayne works in this.
We kind of talked about that. We can cross
So,
out Bruce.
Okay. The trash.
We talked about trash. We can cross that out.
Unreliable visual storytelling.
Yeah, we can do that in
And-
camera work. We can do that in the same one.
Okay, and show don't tell.
Which I guess also kind of works.
Yeah.
Well,
kinda-
let's just do all three of them
Yeah.
in one hodgepodge
Okay.
and end it. That's
Yeah,
to
yeah,
me,
yeah.
that's perfect.
Thank you, Nega Wheel, for your service.
No problem. I'll be back eventually.
Yeah. Oh, you will.
This is not the last you'll see of the Nega Wheel.
Oh gosh.
I'm just gonna save this as a bookmark on my
Yeah,
computer.
we're gonna need them.
Wheel aside. The bookmark's titled "Wheel aside the Nega Wheel."
It's trademarked, people.
No stealing.
No,
We will call the authorities.
or not. We don't know.
Yeah, we don't have money.
Like, I mean, we could.
It'd
We
be
could.
funnier
They
that
stole
way.
our intellectual property. We didn't copyright. I'm mad.
It would be funnier that way.
Arg.
Mom, I stole his intellectual property. Oh, but anyway.
Anyways,
So yeah, let's talk about unreliable narrator for a second here, because I was kind of because Brice, like when I said this term, he was like, "What is that?" And basically, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory what it is. But when you're reading a book, because this more applies to literature than camera work, when you're reading a book and very much what you're reading very much isn't kind of what you're seeing, or it doesn't really line up, sometimes it isn't just bad writing. That's more of an unreliable narrator. What am I being told is actually true? When done very well, it can make for some of the most interesting stories you'll ever read. When done poorly, it's bad writing. Oopsie poopsies.
Yeah.
Here, again, like Brice mentioned with the lights flickering whenever his love interest, I kind of forgot the name of, but whatever, kind of kept.
Did they ever give her name?
I don't remember, but kind of kept showing up, right? Or that he stalked and all that stuff. The fact the lights kept flickering and like everything kind of seemed weird around her environmentally. That's very much a great example of, for one, show don't tell, like you said.
Yeah.
And again, there's a ton of other things like show don't tell in here, like with the trash and with the makeup and all that stuff, because the only real bits of like actual dialogue info dumping we got was through the radio in the first scene and a couple of news bits, and that was it. Every other scene didn't really feel like it was trying to like dump everything on you without showing something with it as well, which I appreciated a lot. As again, with a movie like this, it is very tempting, just like, we're in a diner, we're gonna explain everything to you for 20 minutes.
oh, Quentin Tarantino.
But we liked that movie.
Yeah, we did like that movie.
um,
That one worked well, though.
Yeah, no, it did. That wasn't really more of a dunk on him. I was actually thinking of an anime, but
Oh, okay.
that did that. It was Sword Art Online. It was the first episode of season 2. It was the Gun Gale arc. The whole episode was just in that diner.
NFL, Morbius, Sword Art Online.
When's Sword Art Online, guys? That'd be a great episode.
It's coming.
It's coming.
Just wait.
Bryce, you watched it. I remember that.
I watched part of it.
You know, I watched it too, so that you can't be like,
No, I'm for my public image.
you're on this. It's already shot. Don't pretend like it can be redeemed.
I need to save this little bit.
Really? Everyone watched Sword Art Online, dude. Like, that's not...
Yeah, fair.
Like, a lot of people watched it.
That's fair.
You don't have to like it. I'm just saying.
I watched the first season and then a little bit, and then I kind of lost interest.
You know what? You're speaking for a lot of people right now.
Yep.
But back to Joker.
Yeah.
So, Kirito, the Joker himself. I hate how they called him a beater.
Yeah.
Oh. But, guys, Joker. Unreliable narrator. He's pretty
Yeah.
unreliable.
Yeah.
We know that. The camera shows us that, because we got to talk about camera work as well.
Yes. We're doing 3 things in one.
Exactly.
Yes. So, just the unreliable narrator, it kind of leaves you with this question at the end of how much of what I just saw was real.
Right.
Right? Because at first you see he's at the Murray Franklin show, and
Yeah, like dream sequence.
but it was like a dream sequence. But you're like, oh wait, this didn't actually just happen. This was
Yeah.
his imagination.
Very
Which
normal way
that
of
one
doing
that one was a kind of clear one, because you see he
it's
sits
super
down on
clear,
the bed
yeah.
and he's watching it, and then all of a sudden he's in the audience, you know. But then later on, it's not as clear, where you kind of are suspicious, like, well, why? If she saw that he was stalking her, does she want to go on a date with him?
Oh,
you know?
totally, yeah.
There was
Real
this
great judge
scene-
of character there, buddy.
There was this scene where he kind of like walks into her apartment and they just start kissing right there. But like
Oh, yeah.
that, you can see like, oh well, that didn't happen. That's what he wished would have happened, or
Sure.
what he thought would have happened. You don't really know,
Right.
or obviously probably both. But you're kind of left wondering how much was real. Did he get taken away in the cop car and then it went straight to? Because you see when he gets back to the mental institution, he's completely fine. He doesn't have a cut in his face. Now, granted, time could have passed. We don't know.
Sure. Also, he
But-
stated he's more comfortable there than the real world.
Yes, he also stated that. So then you question, did the whole movie just happen here?
Right. Which again,
But
I think part of it will.
I don't think so.
Part of it will be answered in the sequel, because obviously, yeah, these events happen, or else why would there be a sequel?
Well, yeah.
But also part of it is that if you are paying attention, you can pick up on a couple things. For example, in the hospital scene, when like she offers to get him a coffee, he never really did get that coffee, didn't he? So again, little things like that. Like like if you're paying attention, you can figure it out, which is always the best kind of movie.
Oh yeah.
Instead of just kind of going, haha, I know better than you. You couldn't have figured this out because I'm so smart. I'm looking at you, The Boys season 4, but
I actually haven't finished The Boys season 4.
it's good, but there's parts of it where it's like, come on, guys.
Okay. Well, so then the other thing that I wanted to mention was there was a couple parts at first before I kind of watched the rest of the movie play out. I was in the middle. I was guessing, okay, well, is this real, right? Like,
Why are we still here?
at first you just see somebody with a headline that says "Kill the Rich," and I was kind of questioning back to like It Chapter 2, how in the background you can see
yeah.
or hear little hints of Pennywise being around. I was like, oh, is this like another dream sequence where he's about to kill somebody, but it's not going to be real, right? Like
Yeah.
I was kind of trying to pay attention to that, which it's neat, but it didn't end up happening as I thought. But then
Right.
like how you see at the end where he's completely fine in the mental institution again, you can see, well, did that just happen? Of like,
Sure.
did he really get rescued from the cop car, or did he just kind of get taken straight to the hospital?
Right.
So you don't know for 100%, but you can kind of see that now that there's a sequel, it probably happened.
Sure, but it doesn't make this movie any less bad.
Oh no, not at all.
It's just
I
more
like
of, hey, some stuff we're left questioning on, some stuff is pretty clear. That's what makes it fun.
That's yeah.
Was
I mean, like I'm trying to think of like anything else
I mean, you can
add.
like jump to camera work. We haven't really taught that. yet.
Yeah, I know we haven't talked about camera work. I guess the one thing I can add about this is like with with they show sometimes some of them are like, oh yeah, you got it. But
you got it, champ.
you got it, champ. You're in. I don't know.
I don't know why I thought that was so funny.
Oh gosh.
Oh, but some of those they do leave you guessing, and sometimes like I see kind of like where it kind of leads into that, where it gets a little bit more confusing. Each of them get a little more confusing as the movie goes on. That's
Yeah.
what I kind of saw.
Okay.
That's really my only point to add. That's
That's all right.
Again, I'm waiting.
What are you waiting on? Or to see if,
NGE.
you're right.
It's
You're
coming.
right. But I guess we'll end on camera work.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
that's kind of the last big thing we had to
Yes.
talk about. And one thing that I did very much appreciate about this movie is that it was pretty dynamic at some points with the camera. And I'm
Yeah.
not here to dunk on other superhero movies. I'm here to dunk on other superhero movies. Where, again, I'm a Marvel fan. We all know this about me. But man, that medium shot gets real old after a minute. That John Watts medium shot special just gets real irritating some
Yeah.
days. But nothing
Yeah.
is John Watts. He made a good Spider-Man trilogy. You can fight me on that. But I did very much appreciate how this looked like a movie. This didn't look like more of like, like I don't want to say a product because that feels kind of gross, but more of just, this had so much style, so much finesse. The way the camera moved, the way some of the shadows worked, like the lights flickering, the way like I almost said the Merv Griffin show, the Murray Griffin show. Oops.
And we can add Seinfeld to the list. Okay.
But
All right.
the way frickin' like the lighting was in there, and like the way the camera like zoomed in on him, like it very much felt so much of this was done intentionally.
Yeah.
It was trying to be gross. It was trying to be intimate. It was not trying to shy away from anything.
Close-ups.
Yes.
That's the one that like at the end with the the you wouldn't get it.
You won't get it.
Like they're pretty tight with that camera.
oh yeah.
And it just I don't know, a lot of those scenes, especially when the ones in the dark rooms when they're all tight, up close to them, you can tell that dirtiness and that grittiness.
Right, and
to
you
everything.
can, and like I kind of mentioned with Whiplash a little earlier, a few weeks ago, sometimes that camera work is all you need to pick something apart. As the camera is a narrator itself, it's actually the primary narrator of every movie. Whether you want to admit it or not, medium shots be damned. But it's cute. I don't want to say it's cute. This movie's not cute, but that's cute. Aww. Murder's adorable.
Aw, die.
I'm just picturing like a group of people going, "Aw, da." Oh my god.
So
I don't know, man. Do we got anything else to say?
I actually have a couple on the camera work
All right.
because
Okay.
this was some of the camera work from right off the bat in the opening scene where he's painting his face. you see the camera is shaking a lot. Like if you go back and you really watch it, it looks like if you're holding a phone on a windy day trying to record something, you're just using one hand. It's like shaking left and right.
Oh yeah.
Which I noticed that and I was like, that's intentional because nobody in Hollywood has that shaky of a cameraman unless you want it to be.
Right.
So you see the camera was shaking right off the beginning, but then also you see at points where the camera will move, or I'm sorry, lack thereof, the camera does not move with the characters. Where, sometimes it will move without the characters, but most of the time it would kind of just hang there.
Yeah.
And like you see, one of my favorite parts is when he's leaving, was it Ha-Ha's, and he like writes on the sign, "Don't smile," and crosses out, "Don't forget to." And you see he goes down that long flight of stairs down, and the camera just stays there, and it stays focused on the sign. So you see as Arthur progressively gets less and less in focus, which I really liked. And then they do that a couple times. I'm blanking on the other time, but I know...
I was thinking of the one where it was before he went to the comedy club, and it was just a very long shot of him walking across the street.
There's that, but then there was one, I feel, it zoomed in on a phone or something, when the phone had nothing to do with the scene, but that was what was in focus.
Right.
And everything else kind of happened in the background. Or at the very end, when he's walking and trying to escape the mental hospital after he killed the psychiatrist.
Yeah.
You see, the camera does not move at all during the closing scene.
Right.
But everything else does. The focus of the movie, where he's walking and he's got the blood stains on his shoes, and then he's being chased around by the other ward guard. That's all out of focus.
Right.
But it's what you're supposed to be focusing on as a viewer, because you're not going to be staring at the floor. You're going to be trying to watch what the action is happening, what the storytelling is going on.
Man, what's the symbolism on these floor tiles?
But it's but it's hard to watch physically because it's blurry, which I really thought was a very, very cool design choice.
Yeah. And I think that largely speaks to very much the strength of this movie, and we'll get into closing thoughts. This movie likes to hang there. And not just camera work, but in anything. Mm-hmm. It likes to hang on its themes, hang on its characters, hang not really on its laurels, but you get what I mean.
Hang on the awkward silence, too.
Sure. And largely, it sent a message. This was not a, like, ha ha ha, funny movie, funny superhero.
It's good for the kids.
Yeah, it's bad for the kids. And,
it's not The Flash.
Right.
Every other word is a one-liner.
Ooh. Yeah, Ezra streaking down, very realistic depiction of probably what Ezra did at one point. Oh, yikes.
I was talking about the show where every other word is like a trashy one-liner.
Oh, that too.
I forgot that there was a Flash movie.
The Flash, we watched it together.
Yeah, I know we all saw it together. I forgot.
It was so forgettable.
I liked it.
Ezra's Miller.
Yeah, Ezra's Miller. How could you forget about
Ezra's
that?
Miller, dude.
Marty McFly.
Marty McFly was funny. That was a good joke. I'm going to defend that one.
No, that was a good
But in
joke.
all seriousness, this movie did offend a lot of people. This movie struck a chord. Mm-hmm. It's because it had something to say.
Yeah.
And I don't think I can end it any better than that. Y'all go.
Well, this has been our quick synopsis, honestly. Like, I think...
Yeah.
I don't even know if I have any closing thoughts, because I kind of said
really
all
know.
of my thoughts.
Yeah.
But overall, I've never been so uncomfortable watching a movie, but I've never been so comfortable with that. Like I was okay with not being comfortable.
This is deep, man.
I was completely okay.
Dude, I've said and heard the exact same nonsense in so many classes. I was comfortable being uncomfortable. And then you get like the Iowa Writers Workshop. Ugh.
The claw.
No, dude, I've done that one point. We read a piece about water or whatever, right? And I was kind of silent during that class because I was like, I don't know, I was thinking about pooping or something. I just wasn't there. And like my professor looks at me.
That's your go. Whoa. That's your go-to?
I had some Jimmy Dean sandwiches that morning. It was a rough day on the toilet for Char.
Hey, I'm Jimmy Dean. And
you're gonna get real acquainted with me. But anyway, so I'm thinking about
welcome to hell.
I'm thinking about the bathroom or whatever, as we all are. And my professor looks at me and goes, "Charlie, you've been a little quiet today. What are your thoughts on this piece?" And I said, the piece flowed like water. Everyone like stands it back like, ooh. They were into that.
Yeah.
And I pulled that right out my arse. So.
I didn't even. The funny part is, I didn't even mean to say that. I just kind of said.
No,
something.
I know.
I said something, and then Shirley went on an Iowa rant about it, which I love.
Because it's a funny story. And I remember my friend, like, she looks at me as we're walking back or whatever. She's like, so, that was really smart what you said. It's like, dude, I'm surprised they bought it. It's so funny. Oh, but anyway.
But
It worked.
But like, I was super uncomfortable, and I was okay with that because that's the point of the movie. You're not supposed to. This isn't your favorite movie that you're going to go back and watch 600 times as your
Yeah.
little comfort film.
This ain't no Clutch Powers.
Otherwise, if it is, seek help.
Yeah, I know.
My
We're going
boy.
to get to Back to the Future next year, Aaron. I promise.
My boy right there.
So I think that's it, Aaron.
Yeah. Well, obviously, it was a great performance. I mentioned, I'm just kind of
Did I mention?
give a summary of
Quick
the thing.
synopsis, if you will.
Yeah, a quick synopsis, if you will. Oh, yeah.
Oh, kill me.
Yeah. Now I am saying it at your funeral.
I wasn't gonna before, but you kept
I was.
saying it to me.
I was.
Yeah, I had no doubts you were, but
This has solidified it. So performance was great. The soundtrack and the score was excellent. The combination of silence and soundtrack was great. Obviously the dirty and grittiness of the movie. It was, and there was points in there where I felt like I wasn't watching a movie anymore, and I just felt like I was watching footage of some actual insane human being.
yeah.
The progression of the insanity was great. Obviously, the superhero and backstory aspects and all that. That's not my.
Yeah, you're not a proud attendee of the Virgin Circus
Yeah.
like some of us here.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm some of us here.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm some of us here.
Nah, not as much as me.
Not as much as you. You're the ringmaster.
I am the ringleader. I am the PT Virgin of the circus.
PT virgin.
The greatest virgin. We live in a society, man.
We're doing a podcast, man.
Oh, is that how we're ending it?
I don't know. Probably. Anyways, great movie. I loved it. I love it. It's a good movie.
Yeah, I liked it too.
Cannot
No,
wait
I
for
really
the
did.
sequel.
I'm actually. I'm excited to go see it with you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what we all think after we watch it.
Charlie, will you be in town to see it with us?
I could be. It depends, because I have no classes Friday this semester. So if you really wanted me to, I can haul as soon as I get done on Thursday, and we can see it Friday.
That's up to you, honestly. Well, we'll discuss this behind the
Again,
Yeah, this
scenes.
is the behind the scenes
because Lord knows we care about what I think about driving.
podcast
But
for 3.
do you want to know what I do care about? You guys hitting us up on social medias. We have them all linked on our pages wherever you can find this podcast. We have an Instagram, a Facebook, a TikTok, a YouTube channel where we post extras and all that other fun stuff. Check out our highlights on our socials. Follow them, because we post what we're doing when on them, so it's not completely random. That's really all I have to say. Thank you guys so much for listening. It's been a pleasure. I've been Charlie Robinson, and I'll see y'all next time.
I'm Brice Kaskovic. I'll see you all next time.
Yeah, and I'm Aaron Gresser, and I'm running the board, so you can guarantee you'll see me next time. Goodbye. Thank you for listening to the Double After Hours podcast. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Be sure to check out our social media pages on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. I'm Aaron Gresser, and thanks for staying after hours.
What's so funny?
It's just thinking of a joke.
Do you want to tell it to me?
You